Here's 3 sources of fuel, internal fuel that will sustain you as you go. See, most people, when you start off, you're trying to prove your parents wrong, you're pissed off at your ex, some kid made fun of you at school. So really when you're kind of going through life, you're trying to use this dark energy, this anger, this prove them wrong type mentality to build. And the challenge with that is it can propel you forward, but it's gonna feel like it's dragging you back at the same time. And when things shift, it's when we move to a light energy, where now all of a sudden we're being pulled forward. And it's kind of like a fuel source that burns clean. And that's what I wanna share with you. One of my clients, Tony, he was struggling, 30 million a year, okay? All of you guys listening probably like, I'd like those problems. 30 million a year, had businesses that were succeeding, he had a great team in place, but he didn't feel fulfilled. Because a lot of what propelled him was trying to prove his parents wrong, prove his old friends wrong, or like anybody that ever doubted him. And the moment I said, hey, Tony, can I ask you a question? How much of what you're doing is to help other people? Your team, your potentially investors, everything that he was doing up until that point was for him. Having more money, having more things to kind of prove these other people wrong, instead of trying to figure out how can I get pulled forward into a future that's all about giving. Think about that. The moment I said, hey, can we focus on something, Tony? What if you focus on making people in your company multimillionaires? He's like, oh, I never thought of doing it that way. And I said, dude, if you're not waking up every day to make people in your company millionaires, then what are you doing? Because here's the cool part. If you try to wake up every day to invest in those people, pour in those people for them to be successful, then they're gonna make your business even more successful. And then you'll have more to give to the rest of the world, because I truly believe the more we give, the more we get. It's part of the universal law of reciprocity. So I wanna walk you through 3 specific fuel sources, energy focuses that are gonna help you unlock your next level of growth. The first energy fuel, light energy that I want you to focus on, is making your team rich. One of my favorite things to do is when I'm talking to my sales guy, it's like, hey man, I want to make you more money. This morning, I was doing a quick call with a few of the guys on the sales team, and the first thing I asked them is like, hey man, how do I help you make more money? And they kind of smiled. But the truth is like, I'm serious. I want to write checks with zeros on the end of it. I want your wife and kids to thank me for the life that you're able to provide them, because you guys are going on vacations, that you're being able to upgrade your environment. You're going to be able to support your family. That's what I want. I want my team to win. So instead of waking up every day and going to work and thinking, how do I get these people that work for me to do more? Ask this question: how do I show up and be the person that works for them? See, I don't have people that work for me. When I go into my companies, I'm there to work for them. I'm there to unblock them. I'm there to help create wealth. When I built my company Spheric in Flowtown, I'd wake up every day and think of the people on the team that had equity in the company and how could I make them even more successful. My investors, I want to make my team, my partners, even more successful. That energy fuel burns clean. That will pull you forward. And that's what I want to encourage you to think about, is the people on your team. How do you help them create more economies around them? Because their personal economy will be part of the business economy, about the transactions in your company, but you got to make it about them. The second energy fuel source I want to talk about is your customers, right? Now, a lot of businesses say this. They're like, yeah, we love our customers are number one. Sure. The way I think about it, I ask myself this question every week: how do I create more value for my customers than anybody else in the world? That's the question I want to encourage you to ask. For your business, how do you create more value for your customers than anybody else in the world? In the last year in SaaS Academy alone, one of my companies, we've had 60 of our clients exit their businesses. We teach this thing called the perfect exit. Everything we're doing is trying to get the founder to build the foundation, to grow the revenue, to create the systems that's going to be attractive to an external buyer. And at that point, they can either decide to keep building or they can have their exit. That is the metric we literally measure ourselves against. And I want you to think about it for your business. What are the challenges that your customers are having to get to their first milestone of success, right? It might be their first $1,000 a month, or trying to hire their first employee, or try to have a little bit more success in retaining customers. Whatever it is for your customers, I want you to ask yourself, even if it's not the business you're in, maybe you're a marketing person and you know your customers are having a hard time with recruiting. I want you to ask yourself, how do you create more value for them? How can you show up in a way that will inspire you because you're giving. See, when we give, it's hard to feel a lack of. When we give, it's hard to feel anxiety. When we give, it's hard to feel depressed. It's almost like gratitude. It's like the ultimate thing. If you want to change your mood, then be of service. Go find the people that need you most and offer yourself to them. Your customers are sitting there. They're waiting for you. You have their phone numbers. Call them, make their phone ring, and literally say, John, I don't know what's going on in your business, but I don't know if I can be helpful, but I'd love to see if there's anything, even if it has nothing to do with what we're doing, that we can serve with. I want to show up for you, John. How can I help? That will go a crazy long way, and most importantly, it will fuel you in your internal energy to push forward when you want to give up. The third energy fuel source I want to talk about is your community. You know, one of our core values as a family is we take care of our community, because you never know who you love that might need those local services. You know, it doesn't matter if it's the local food bank or the homeless shelter or whatever it is. I would encourage you to consider, how can you show up to support them even when you have nothing? Because it's when you have nothing and you give that when you have more, you will give more. See, a lot of people say, when I make it, then I will give. That's not how it works. You got to give when you have nothing of your time, of your ideas, whatever it is. That energy of pouring out into the people around you will change the game. You know, just yesterday I was speaking to about 20 men in a treatment center. They're addicted alcoholics and they follow the AA program. And I love this place of faith that follows that process, because they understand, and I learned this in my own journey. You know, I went to rehab when I was 17 and it literally saved my life. Is I learned if I want to keep my sobriety, I have to help other people. It's such a beautiful concept. Whatever you want in your life, if you want to get fit, you want to have money, help other people have money. Help other people be successful. Help other people be healthy. You know, your community is where you're going to get it at. When I go and visit Portage, the facility that literally saved my life, I tell all the boys the same thing, or the girls. I'm talking to them, I'm sharing my story, and I say, at the end of the day, when you get out, a year later, if you stay sober, you reach out to me. The staff will give you my number and you let me know it's been a year and you're here for some help, and I will put all of my resources behind your dream. I will get you the people, the contacts, the relationships, the books, the whatever you need, the seed capital. Now I only do that for Portage, so don't be starting messaging me. I said that once at a talk and I had about 100 people reach out. But I do that for my community. I do it for my local environment, because I know that my neighbor or a good friend of mine, at some point, somebody in their families are going to need those resources, and I want to be there to be able to support them. And I know you got it in you, and I know you know the organization. People always go, well, how do you choose? Here's the thing. What pain did you experience that you got through, that you overcame, that you would like to help other people get through easier? Whatever organization supports that, that's the one I would encourage you to consider. So literally stop the video, pick up the phone, call them, offer of your help, your time, your resources. You can run an event, you can do whatever it is. And oftentimes they just want somebody to show up and believe in them more. Like, it's not easy running these programs, but if you can just show up and be you and give them encouragement and shine your belief into them when they don't have any belief in themselves, that's one of the most powerful things you can do. So the three most powerful fuel sources to pull you forward, not use a dark energy, but a light energy, is first and foremost your team. Help the people closest to you become more. Number two is your customers. They're right there. They're already having a relationship with you. Why don't you ask if you can be more helpful? And number three is your community. The people around you, your neighbors, your friends, your colleagues. Be sure to offer your help to your community so you can help everybody get the resources and services they need to build a better community around you. So as you go out into the world and use those fuel sources to elevate your energy, I want to ask you this. Who are you doing it for? Why are you doing this? You know, I don't doubt that you're going to be successful, but the question I want to leave you with is, will you matter?